There comes a moment in every human life when the weight of existence presses so hard against the chest that even breathing feels like work. When warnings arrive not as opportunities but as obligations, and when the simple act of standing up feels like an act of rebellion against exhaustion, disappointment, rejection, loss, and pain. And it is in that moment when everything inside you whispers enough that the words "I will not quit" must rise louder than fear, louder than doubt, louder than the voice that says you are tired. Because quitting is easy, quitting is natural, quitting requires no courage, but continuing requires everything you have and everything you are becoming. Life does not ask permission before it tests you. It does not check whether you are ready before it hits you. And it does not pause because you have already endured enough, because pain does not operate on fairness and struggle does not follow schedules. And yet somehow you are still here, still breathing, still standing, still carrying a heart that beats even after being broken, which means that whether you realize it or not, you have already proven that you are stronger than the moment that once tried to end you. You may feel like you have given everything and received nothing, like you invested years of your life, your energy, your money, your belief, your faith, only to look around and see empty hands and unanswered prayers. But what you fail to see in that moment of frustration is that the process has been shaping you, strengthening you, sharpening you, teaching you resilience, discipline, patience, and grit. Qualities that cannot be bought, rushed, or skipped, because success does not reward the fastest, but the most consistent, and victory does not belong to the most talented, but to the most relentless. There will be seasons where nothing works, where effort produces silence, where consistency produces criticism instead of results, and where people begin to question your sanity for continuing to believe in something they cannot see. But understand this truth deeply. Just because the harvest has not arrived does not mean the seed is dead, and just because the door has not opened yet does not mean it never will, because delay is not denial, and struggle is not the end of the story. You were never promised an easy path, you were promised a meaningful one, and meaning is forged in resistance, in late nights, in quiet tears, in moments when nobody claps for you, in times when you must encourage yourself because no one else understands the weight you carry. And it is precisely in those moments that quitting becomes tempting, because quitting offers immediate relief, but relief is temporary and regret lasts forever. Understand this truth clearly. Getting knocked down is not a failure. Staying down is. Because life will hit you whether you are prepared or not. It will push you to the ground without warning, and sometimes you will land hard, confused, embarrassed, and wounded. But what defines you is not the fall, it is the decision to rise again even when your legs are shaking, your confidence is bruised, and your heart is tired of hoping. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher, and every scar you carry is proof that you survived something that once tried to destroy you. So instead of running from discomfort, learn to listen to it, because pain asks questions that comfort never will, and growth demands a price that convenience is unwilling to pay. You must understand that motivation will not always be present, passion will not always burn brightly, and confidence will not always show up on time, which is why discipline matters more than feelings, commitment matters more than moods, and your decision to continue must not depend on how inspired you feel that day, because inspiration fades, but identity remains. And when you decide who you are, your actions begin to follow. There will be moments when fear speaks loudly, when uncertainty clouds your vision, when failure feels personal, and when rejection feels like confirmation of your worst insecurities. But fear is not a stop sign. It is a signal that you are standing at the edge of growth, and courage is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to be ruled by it. You may feel alone in your journey, unsupported, misunderstood, and unseen, but solitude does not mean abandonment, and silence does not mean insignificance, because some of the most powerful transformations happen away from the spotlight, in rooms where no one is watching, in seasons where no one is applauding, and in times where progress is internal long before it becomes visible. Quitting will always be an option, but it is the one option that guarantees failure, because the moment you quit, you eliminate every possibility of success, every chance of breakthrough, and every opportunity for redemption, whereas persistence keeps you in the game, and as long as you are in the game, hope remains alive. You must learn to separate who you are from what you are experiencing, because hardship does not define your worth, and struggle does not diminish your value. And just because things are difficult does not mean you are incapable. It simply means you are being tested, refined, and prepared for something greater than your current understanding. Every great story includes adversity, every meaningful victory requires endurance, and every person who achieved something extraordinary had moments where quitting seemed reasonable, logical, and justified. But they chose to continue anyway, not because they were fearless, but because they were committed. Commitment means showing up even when results are slow, even when energy is low, even when belief is fragile, and even when doubt is loud, because consistency compounds in ways that are invisible in the beginning, but undeniable in the end. You are not behind, you are not broken, and you are not failing. You are simply in the middle, and the middle is always messy, uncomfortable, uncertain, and exhausting. But it is also where transformation happens, where strength is built, and where character is formed. Stop measuring your progress by comparison, because someone else's timeline has nothing to do with your assignment, and someone else's success does not reduce your potential, because there is room for everyone who is willing to work, learn, adapt, and persist. When you feel like giving up, remind yourself of how far you have already come, of the obstacles you already overcame, of the versions of yourself that would be proud of where you stand today, and of the future version of you that depends on the choices you make right now. There will be days when you move forward confidently, and days when you crawl, but progress is still progress regardless of speed, and forward motion, no matter how slow, is always better than standing still. Your story is not over, your purpose has not expired, and your potential has not been exhausted, because as long as you are breathing, there is still work to be done, growth to experience, and impact to create. Say it again, not as a wish, not as motivation, but as a declaration rooted in discipline, identity, and resolve. I will not quit. Not because it is easy, not because it is comfortable, but because my future is worth the struggle, my growth is worth the pain, and my purpose is worth the persistence. I will not quit when progress is slow. I will not quit when the path is unclear. I will not quit when people doubt me. I will not quit when fear shows up. And I will not quit when failure tries to convince me that I'm done. Because I understand that success is not a moment, but a process. Not a destination, but a journey. And not a gift, but a reward for those who refuse to stop. And when I finally reach the other side of this season, when I look back at the nights I almost gave up, the days I wanted to walk away, and the moments I questioned everything, I will not regret continuing, because endurance builds pride, resilience builds confidence, and perseverance builds a life that cannot be shaken. So stand up again, breathe deeply, gather what strength you have left, and take one more step forward. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is not something dramatic, not something heroic, but simply refusing to quit when quitting feels justified. Say it one last time with conviction, with courage, and with clarity. I will not quit.